Abandon all hope, ye who enter here, to this, whatever this is. I won't call it a podcast because that's a saturated medium, although it is a podcast technically. But it's more so just an audio journal for me. So really, I don't have much to talk about anything except just odd things. Well, not odd, but not hip by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm just going to get into some conspiracy stuff to start with, namely Michael Hastings and his possible assassination. Michael Hastings was a journalist who died in a car crash in 2013, and he was supposedly going to do a big story on then CIA director. He said he was onto a big story, and that very night his car crashed and he died in the fiery aftermath. Or before, or on impact, I don't know. But and WikiLeaks released documents that showed that the CIA had been researching hacking into people's cars and assassinating them that way since at least 2014. Now maybe they got the idea from the Michael Hastings conspiracy theories, or maybe in their deep dark files where only the most senior of the seniorist can look, there are files on that method of assassination going back further than 2013. Michael Hastings attacked Obama and what he said was a war on journalists. Obama legalized propaganda after he was elected for the second time. I don't know the exact name of the law or anything, but he did. And it wouldn't be outlandish if they killed him. Like, they've obviously done worse stuff. So to kill just a journalist doesn't seem like a big enchilada, as it were. But let me give you the basic gestalt on another lesser known conspiracy theory about Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid was brother to Dennis Quaid. Well, he still is. He's still alive. And he came out. The incident was sparked by he was staying in a guest house of a home he claimed to own and was illegally taken from him. And when he was charged with felony burglary, he fled to Canada. And he said that there are star whackers in Hollywood, and he said Heath Ledger was a victim of them. And he gave dire warnings to Mel Gibson and Britney Spears. So he went to Canada and applied for amnesty or whatever. The Canadians didn't grant it to him, and so he went back to America, crossed the border into Vermont, and when the judge, there was some technicality that he got off on. So whether he was just fleeing because he didn't want to end up in a federal prison as a Hollywood B-lister, that would have been hell. But or there actually are star whackers, which wouldn't surprise me at all. In fact, it would surprise me if there weren't. So I don't know, whatever you think about Randy Quaid, is he insane? Is he lying in some desperate attempt to protect his skin? or is he telling the truth? I was reading a little bit of Descartes today, and it sort of answered a question I had about solipsism, because I'd always figured there's no way to prove I'm not the only cognizant being. There's no way to tell whether the entire universe is an illusory projection of my own consciousness. And Descartes said that he said cogito ergo sum, which is obviously I am thinking, therefore I exist. But so you can infer from that solipsistic things. And so I'd always just been fascinated with the concept that I might be the only conscious being. And it didn't seem too outlandish as well. And it was a conspiracy theory of all conspiracy theories. The mother of them all. That's where they all lead to. The very questioning of reality itself. But Descartes said that if I was the only cognizant being, if I was the only conscious being, then I would effectively be God. And since I am so full of doubt, I cannot be God. Therefore there must be a God, and I am not him. Therefore there is a God, and this is not a solipsistic reality. I just thought that was good. But it hasn't quite, because I'm thinking, well, what if this universe, like the Gnostics say, it's created by the demiurge, and what if I'm the demiurge, or that God is keeping prison in this universe? I don't know, and when I die, I guess I'll find out, as we all do. If there is no truth, then we find that out at death as well. We experience nothing. If there is, I'm sure it all will be revealed when we die. That's not to say kill yourself, because maybe that's some sort of cardinal sin. Maybe that's the ultimate blasphemy, is to kill yourself. But I've known a few people who've committed suicide, but I've never really understood suicide, because you're going to die regardless. Why kill yourself when even if there's a 0.0001% chance of things getting better, that's still better than the completely 0% chance if you kill yourself. Or maybe life is a big test, and whoever's brave enough to kill themselves gets into heaven. I don't know, but I'm not brave enough, nor do I want to kill myself, because I have a conspiratorial imagination. I would expect something extremely terrible to happen to me after death if I killed myself. I read a book a while ago called The Politics. What's it called? Programmed to Kill: The Politics of Serial Murder by David McGowan. And in it he says that the phenomenon of serial killing is a government psyop meant to sort of manipulate society into accepting ever increasing personal freedoms being taken away. Which, it's not too outlandish, it's not too crazy, because there aren't many cases of serial killers before what we now have as super totalitarianism, where the state is the cult, and anyone who doesn't engage in the cult's activities or undermines the cultish nature of the state but like I said, they've done worse. And there. I just remembered what I was talking about. Yeah, I mean, who was the first recorded serial killer? I'll look it up. I think, I don't know. I know there was this guy called Peter Lubin, was it, in Germany in the 1500s, and it's called, or maybe, I don't know. Let me just look it up. Sorry about that. Sorry about this. Not Peter Lubin, it was... No, not Peter Curtin. Peter Stump, that was it. Yeah, here we go. Peter Stump was a German farmer accused of werewolfery, witchcraft and cannibalism. And he became known as the Werewolf of Bedburg. But he was accused of werewolfery and witchcraft, which would have been conspiracy theories of that time. And he had a nasty execution. He was put to a wheel where flesh was torn from his body in 10 places with red-hot pincers, followed by his arms and legs. Then his limbs were broken with the blunt side of an axe head to prevent him from returning from the grave, before he was beheaded and his body burned in a pyre. So that was a pretty bad way to go. But I don't know, is there any good way to go besides maybe helium inhalation, or just a bullet to the head? I don't know. Death scares me more than anything, you know. Not just the two things. It's probably going to be the most painful experience of your life, and then afterwards you're dead. As they say, life is a bitch and then you die. But the reason why I'm conspiratorial about everything is because reality could be anything. You know, reality, it could very well, and it could be any number of things, and it might be the Christian view might be correct. There are cardinal sins and lesser sins or whatever. And the atheistic one could be correct. But what I don't get about science and its disdain for religion is that, you know, they say, well, how can there be a God if he didn't come from anything? How does he exist? What created him? And then I would just say, well, what created the universe? Because there had to be something that created everything before anything, and before it there was nothing. So isn't that God? Doesn't that fit the logical definition of a God? But back to Gnosticism, there was something interesting which in the Apocryphon of John, which is a Gnostic text, Jesus describes the true God as pure light into which no eye can gaze. And with that in mind, I would ask, are black holes the true God manifest into the material world, the world of the demiurge? because pure light, a black hole absorbs all light. A black hole is a collapsed star, and into which no eye can gaze, and it doesn't reflect any light, so no eyes can gaze into it. I'd also like to talk about this guy, Christopher Langan, who has the highest recorded IQ ever found, around the 195 to 210 mark. That's the standard deviation where he's placed, which is almost just comically intelligent, almost to the point of, it's almost, I don't know, it's just, I sometimes laugh when I think about how intelligent he must be, and it's just overdoing it, it's just overkill. I get the sense that people are as intelligent as they want to be, and to me it seems like, wow, he must really fucking want to be intelligent or something, that he had to. But then, you know, it could just be that, I don't know, they say IQ is culturally biased. It doesn't effectively measure intelligence. I don't know, that's just if that itself is just propaganda, or if the IQ meme is propaganda. I don't know which one is true or false. I'm agnostic, as Robert Anton Wilson said. I don't believe anything, but I'm agnostic about many things, he said, and I butchered it. But I don't know what direction to go in, if I should pursue the sciences or philosophy or history or theology or the humanities, or just a practical skill I could cultivate. Because more likely than not, I'm just going to be one of those forgotten people, you know, who's just, when they die, then no legacy, no nothing, you know. So what is the point except hedonistic pleasure seeking? But even that becomes empty after a while, and there's something, you know, there's just something, I feel like there's something out there to know that would solve everything, and maybe when you die, that's when it's revealed to you, I don't know. But lately, according to Christopher Langan, basically what he's saying is that God is a supercomputer from the end of time, and we are his memories of his own creation. And that if we were to have God's view, everything would be happening at once. You know, what he says, it all relates to, you can relate it to esoteric religion and modern physics. Everything is saying the same thing, you know, all religions are pointing in the same direction. You know, people harp on about how the Christianity held us back 2,000 years. Well, you know, I don't think history would have played out as well as it did if it weren't for Christianity. So the whole, anti-Christian sentiment is a bit retarded, I think. Sure, the Vatican is probably obsolete and corrupt by now. Maybe it was always corrupt, but not obsolete. And were it to be obsolete but not corrupt, I think that's how it was when it started. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Anyway, so see ya.